What's up everyone, and welcome back to another video about The Division. Boomslangg here, and today we're going to break down the recently released Season Pass and Year 1 content trailer for The Division. There's a ton of stuff shown in this 2-minute long trailer, and although it's not super detailed what they do show us, there was an article released by GameSpot where the creative director for the game, Magnus Jansen, was part of an email Q&A, which gives us a little bit more clarity on some aspects of the Year 1 content. So with that, let's dive into this, and I apologize in advance if I sound a little hyper and excited. The first of all the DLC we'll be getting are 2 free updates. That's right, free updates. The first one is called Incursions, which will be available in April. Incursions will include an all-new in-game activity designed specifically for a squad of 4 people, which will reward you with powerful new weapons and gear. Magnus Jansen stated these incursions are extremely challenging and require preparation and coordination, and are available for players at max level of 30. You can see this playing out when we see this level 30 armored personnel carrier, a freaking elite enemy vehicle in this scene. This looks like a M1117, but I have my doubts because several things don't match up exactly. This just popped up when I searched 4-wheeled armored personnel carriers. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is, but anyways, holy crap, there are vehicles in this incursion. Now, whether this means we'll see more vehicles in the vanilla game or in future DLC, I don't know, but we do know now that there is at least a possibility. And from the cover of this update, it appears we will be fighting the Last Man Battalion in this incursion, which would explain why there's an APC. It would be highly unlikely any of the other factions would have access to vehicles of this sort. Also, I don't think this means we will be able to drive vehicles at any point. I think it's simply there for a challenging boss fight. So incursions seem similar to a raid activity, but they don't include the 8 players we have been hearing rumors about, and honestly, none of the DLCs seem to hint at an 8-player raid, but maybe, possibly, hopefully, we could see an 8-man incursion. Although they did say they were designed for 4 players, it's possible they could design one of these things for 8 players, I don't know. Magnus Jansen did confirm in the GameSpot article that there are more of them in development, so don't lose hope. But also, don't count on it. We'll just have to wait and see. One more thing worth pointing out in this clip is that we see the Stayer AUG for the first time, confirming its existence, at least in the first free update. Other features to be added in this update include new gear sets and loot trading. This loot trading system will allow players to trade loot collected in a co-op experience with each other. This feature was originally in the game, but for some reason disappeared. So it's great to see that the developers are responding to the community's feedback and adding this feature back into the game. And not only will we get all of this, but the image says that there will be much more besides all of the content we just talked about. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what this much more will be. More than likely, it's new cosmetics of some sort, but I don't know for sure. The second free update is called Conflict and will be available in May. This update will change the way we play the Dark Zone by adding activities. What these activities will consist of, though, is still unknown. But what we do know is that there will be another incursion added, and this one will take place in the Columbus Circle, which is interesting because this area is outside of the initial starting map area of the game. So this update could either expand the map more, or these incursions are instanced and we are dropped into them differently than how we activate the normal missions in the game. Only time will tell. The other thing that will be added in this update are the challenge modes. We heard about these as being one of the in-game features in the game. When we beat the game and then replay the missions, we will have access to the challenge mode difficulty settings, similar to having access to normal and hard. And this update will apparently add new ones on top of the challenge modes we will already have access to in the vanilla game. And again, like the first update, it also says much more in addition to all the content we just discussed. Now, let's talk about the actual expansion packs. These expansions add significant new content and not just more of the old stuff we've already experienced. In the GameSpot Q&A article, Magnus Jansen stated that they want to be ambitious with the innovation of the DLC expansions, and that at the heart of each one is a completely new experience, so that it's not just more of the same of what's available at launch. And these expansions definitely seem to back that up if what they're hinting at turns out to be true. The first one is called Underground and will be available in June. This expansion opens up the mazes of sewers and subway tunnels underneath the city of New York, where enemies have fallen back back into and are regrouping, and it's our job to descend into the unknown and take them out. The few things that stick out to me is the safe house for one, and that the narrator asks, how deep will your team go? So we know we will be able to fast travel to at least one level of this underground with the safe room, and there will be several levels if we are being asked how deep we will go. One concern I have about the short clip of the safe room though is the fact that we saw this in an earlier trailer, so we don't know if this is in the vanilla game and they just decided to throw this clip in here for this trailer, or if this is actually from the DLC. Either way, let's just take the safe house with a grain of salt and wait for further information on that one. But I'm excited about this new area to explore because this is very dungeon-esque and reminds me of when I would explore the caves and caverns in Skyrim, so having a whole expansion dedicated to an area similar sounds like a lot of fun. Survival is the second expansion and will be available in the summer. This expansion will challenge players to survive as long as possible by gathering essential supplies in a very hostile environment. And in the video, it also mentions there will be a temptation to turn rogue, and we can see agents shooting another agent down. This is interesting because there have been rumors that this expansion will turn the whole map into a dark zone. Personally, I don't think that will happen. I think this will add some sort of optional survival mechanic game mode where players can choose to either work together or turn on each other, and the reason I think this is because we only see 4 agents in the gameplay, but we also see more than 4 agents in the artwork, which insinuates dark zone-like player numbers. I guess we'll just have to wait for more details like everything else we've already been talking about. But I'm really curious to see what kind of supplies we will need to gather and what they mean by survive. Is there a time limit, or is it actual survival mechanics where we have to collect food and things like that? Either way, you can definitely see how this sounds like it's going to change up the gameplay. And in the Q&A article with Magnus Jansen, they asked him if this was going to be a horde mode similar to Gears of War, and his only response was no. He didn't want to give any more details, but he did confirm that this will not be Gears of War Horde mode. One final thing I have to add concerning this video clip is that we see what appears to be the M40A5 sniper rifle for the first time. So this either is in the vanilla game or will be added in the second expansion pack. The third expansion is titled Last Stand, and this is probably the one I am most interested in learning more about. This expansion requires you and your squad to defend against a relentless new foe. So right there, we know there's a new enemy, probably a new faction, and we will have to prepare the defense against this new enemy, possibly by buying and upgrading base defenses or some sort of things like that, since we see what looks like a 20mm turret with a laser sight and a much larger defensive wall than our agents can carry. And the video also says we will recruit other agents to help hold the line. So this could mean matchmaking or just squatting up with your friends. I guess we'll have to wait and see. So while I think this expansion will add a whole new story to be told and will possibly set up the Division 2, I think that this could be some sort of defense game mode similar to Horde mode, but with a twist. That's just my speculation though. The two reasons I think this will add a new story and a base defense comes from the artwork. It features the Statue of Liberty with a skull, which could mean a new location or a new faction. And underneath this, we see what looks like the base of operations under attack, but this is just my speculation, and we won't know for sure until much later into the year. Now, if you buy the season pass, not only will you get all of these expansions, but you'll also get an exclusive sawed-off shotgun sidearm, new weapons and gear, bonus events, and exclusive outfits, which was confirmed by Magnus Jansen to not consist of crazy bright-colored random outfits like Call of Duty or anything like that. And this applies to both free and paid outfits. And like I mentioned earlier, there will be plenty of free stuff coming as well, such as the loot trading, gear sets, Dark Zone features, daily and weekly assignments, new weapons, Dark Zone events, and challenge modes. So everyone will be getting something over the course of the year with the Division. If you want more stuff, then get the season pass for $40 US. If not, then you should have plenty of things to keep you busy. And that's going to wrap up this breakdown. I tried my best to spot all of the small hidden things, but if I missed anything and you guys found it, let me know in the comments and we can talk about it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more of the Division content, and until next time, don't trust anyone in the Dark Zone.